back to the College of the Redwoods Wood Shop. This is Bert, your friendly neighborhood drawer installer. In this video I'm going to show you how to install drawer slides on a typical kitchen cabinet. The drawer slides that we will be using today are economical epoxy coated drawer slides. These cost about $3 to $4 per set per drawer. They come in two colors. They come in white and almond color. Most people use white. It's cleaner, it looks a little bit nicer. I have here a typical 2-drawer cabinet with one drawer already installed. This is a 4-inch deep by 21-inch drawer. You can see here that the slides are attached to the bottom of the drawer and that it doesn't fully extend. It's about, they call it a three-quarter extension drawer slide, but it's a little more than 3/4. There's a little bit of the drawer that remains inside the cabinet. This is not a soft close. It will slam shut, but they work quite well. So before we get started here, I should point out that there's a lot of small parts, small components, and I'm going to have to move the camera around a little bit here and there so that to show you the details. Some things that we will need. We're going to need 2 drills, one with a Vicks bit. This is a cone-tipped spring-loaded drill bit that fits into the holes of our drawer slide components. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. And we will need another battery-operated drill with a Phillips head in this case. We will need a large amount of flathead 5/8 screws. Usually when you buy drawer slides, they will come with the screws. I like to have a regular Phillips screwdriver as well so that I can hand torque the screws in to make sure that I don't strip them out. And then we will need a Blum gun. This is a plastic little jig that you can purchase at any supplier that sells the epoxy drawer slides. In this case, these are a Blum brand made in Austria, and they also make the Blum gun. Other manufacturers make these. They come in different colors. They all do about the same thing, have the same purpose. We need a drawer. We have here a completed drawer, dovetailed. You can see how I made this in my previous videos. The first thing we need to do when we install, I'm going to turn you around here a little bit, is we need to remove this cabinet door. It's going to get in the way. We don't want to scratch it, and so we're going to take this door off. We can click the hinges, clip it out, pull it out, set it aside so that it will be protected. And just because for convenience and because I don't want to scratch the cabinet, I'm also going to remove my hinge plate. This will be easy enough to replace. We already have the holes there. We know the door is all lined up and adjusted, so it should fit okay. The slides come in a matched set, so when you spend your $4 to buy a set of slides, you're going to get 4 components, 2 for each side of the drawer. One component will attach to the cabinet, and the other will attach to the drawer box itself. These are labeled, and you might not be able to see this, but right here there's a stamped label that says CR, and that stands for cabinet right. If you're standing facing the cabinet and looking at it, this would go on the right hand side of the cabinet. So this would go right here. The matching piece is labeled DL, which you might not be able to see either, but right there's a little DL, and that stands for drawer left. This would go on the left side of the drawer over here, obviously. Looks like I have these mixed up. That's why they're labeled. Here we have cabinet left. That will go over here. should be drawer right. Correct. Cabinet right. And I will start with the cabinet left because I think you can see that a little bit better. So this is going to be attached in here right at the bottom of the drawer opening, and it needs to be perpendicular to the front face of the cabinet. Now we could draw lines on here with a carpenter square, line it up, screw it in, and that works just fine. If I didn't have a Blum gun, if I didn't have this Blum gun, I would just use the square. It would work just as well. But the convenience of this is that we can place our component into the Blum gun. It just snaps in there. There's a spring that holds it in right here, and it has holes on the other side, so we can drill through and we can locate the screws. The advantage to this is that it's perpendicular right here, a 90-degree corner, and when we place it on the face frame, it positions it exactly where we want it to go. The drawer slide should be set back from the edge of the cabinet and face frame about 1/16 of an inch. And the Blum gun has a little tab right here, sticks out about 1/16 of an inch. So when we place this component in there and slide it forward, there's a little tiny gap right there, and this will butt up against the cabinet, this face, and that will leave a little bit of a gap, setting it back in there just that 1/16 of an inch. I forgot to mention, these drawer slides typically range in have a load rating of 50 to 100 pounds. These are 100-pound slides. You can buy cheaper ones, but at $4, these work quite well. Make sure I didn't forget anything. Okay. I think you can see that. Now we're going to use our Vicks bit and our drill, and we're going to locate a couple of holes in there. Oh, wrong drill. I'm only going to drill 2 holes and put 2 screws in it at this point. These slides have more holes than we need. There's a large one and a small one, and there are sets of holes all the way down. We do not need to place that many screws into this to attach it to the cabinet. 3 or 4 are enough. I've even seen some attached with 2. I don't think that's adequate. I usually put more than that. There are also some holes that are slots. So this is an elongated hole up and down, and then there's one at the back. And there's one up here too. If you put the screws in those 2 holes, this will allow you to adjust the slide up and down once you have attached the drawer, and give you a little bit of adjustment in case it's twisted or out of plumb. So you can loosen the screw, move the slide, tighten it down, get the drawer operating smoothly when you like where it's at, and then go back and drill holes in the other areas and put more screws in and lock it down. I've drilled 2, and now I'm going to attach this to the cabinet. It's very handy having a magnetized drill driver. Then you're not fumbling with screws. Dropping the screws each time. It's nice to have someone to help you with this process, but I'm alone today. There we go. I don't know if you can see that. I'll try to get you up there closer. And we will continue with the other side. Let you look over my shoulder here. The Blum Gun is reversible. It allows you to use both sides. So this here is labeled cabinet right, and it's going to go into that side there with the roller. There's a roller, I forgot to mention, one of the rollers is out at the front, and when the drawer is installed, the other roller will be at the back. So that roller is positioned at the back of the drawer. When we get to that point, I'll show you. So now we will place the slide in the Blum Gun. Make sure it's in there correctly and tight. Nice little springs hold it in place. Place it up against the face frame. And at this point, this is why I removed the hinge plate, because it would interfere with the Blum Gun. Now I will drill a couple of holes. One. Two. And install a couple of screws. Two screws in each. That is enough to get the drawer, enough to support it until we can determine if it's going to be plumb and operate smoothly. Next, we need to install the drawer components, and we will look at our drawer and determine if there's one face that's better than the other. In this case, this is a nice drawer, and so it won't really matter. Remember that we're going to attach a false front on here, so this face will be covered. I think I'm going to go with that. So this will be the left-hand side of my drawer here, and I am going to look for drawer left. This is drawer left. There's my label right there. The roller goes at the back. And with this, we just need to make sure that the end of the epoxy slide is slightly back behind that leading edge. We don't want it hanging over the front. That'll look funny, and the drawer front won't be able to mount on there. So we're just pulling it back a slight bit. About a 32nd is plenty. And now we will use a Vicks bit again. There are holes. Make sure you can see this. I need a cameraman. There are holes on the edge and holes on the bottom, and it doesn't really matter which ones you choose. I like to put a couple screws in each. And this is not going to need a lot of adjustment, so I better put some screws in there. If Once you move it around, it's best to drill one or two with the Vicks bit and then put a screw in place. And then when you drill more holes, they will all line up. Let's put one here, and we'll put one at the back. There's one side. This is the back of the drawer. This would be the front of the drawer here. The back with the roller. So now we'll flip it over and we will install the second side. Roller, cabinet, or drawer right. I'm working on the drawer. And again, this willow drawer, the willow is fairly soft, and so I found I don't need to drill really deep with the Vicks bit, just enough to get the screw started. You could do this without a Vicks bit, but it's very helpful. They're not too expensive. It's worth it. Alright, clean the dust off of there, and let's test our drawer and see what happens. Now when we place it in the cabinet, these rollers on the drawer have to kind of lift over those rollers on the cabinet right here, and so the drawer has to tip forward or tip down. As you can see here, the drawer is tipped down. I will drop the back end first, lift up, and then it should roll right into place. It's a little bit tight. There we go. I think it might have just had a bump in it. That works pretty good. Give you some detailed shots here. This corner's a little low, probably a little twisting and something. See that pop up and down there? That can be taken care of with some adjusting on the cabinet component. The drawer components here are pretty fixed. They have to run along the bottom edge of the drawer. All of this is assuming that you have a square, flat drawer. It's really important when you make your drawers that the stock is consistent thickness, that it's flat, that it's square ends when you do dovetails, and that the drawer is square. If it's not, the front will not be flush across the face frame, and then when you attach the false front onto the cabinet, it will not seat up nicely on the face frame. You'll have gaps, and then it takes a bit more work to fix that. And there we have two functioning drawers. I'll move the camera around, show you a few more details. If you have questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.